calling it a seismic shift towards finally delivering justice for Black America. A member of the California Reparations Task Force says the group's recommendations will be, quote, breathtaking.
USA, I should say, my eyes are going bad. Lisa Holder.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa Holder writes in an op-ed that Californians must be prepared for remedies on a scale approaching the Great Society programs of Medicare and Medicaid.
Joining us now to discuss is our panel Republican strategist Brian Sychik and Project 21 member and political analyst Donna Jackson. I want to get your thoughts on this, Donna. This is something that we have been discussing over the past week or so. Reparations, do you think they are a good idea, especially reparations of this magnitude?
I don't think reparations are a good idea in any way. And if it's the Great Society, let me tell you, the reason why the Black community is in the devastation that it's in now is because of the Great Society. These policies have done nothing but destroy Black families. It's substituted the government for the father, and it's destroyed families everywhere. Every economic aspiration of African Americans have been destroyed because of this notion that the government is somehow going to make up the difference. The other thing is, how are you going to force people who never owned slaves to pay people who were never slaves? Are we going to start doing that for every crime? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I haven't heard it put that simply.
Really,
so
really logical statement.
That's how many arguments are going to ensue based on that in itself.
And so many nuances, too.
Brian, your thoughts here?
I mean, this violates the fundamental principle, the fundamental American principle of fairness. This is just patently unfair on so many levels. And there is racial division in this country, and this is just the kind of thing that exacerbates it. You know, folks on the left and the progressives, they don't understand how we can even be talking about Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis with his focus on wokeism. But this is why. This reparations just enrages people. Let's put this in the category also of cutting out college debt. There are folks in this country who work very hard to provide for their families and to give their children a better life. And when the government just comes in and decides we're going to give a certain group of people millions of dollars for an admitted tragedy that happened 200 years ago, it just strikes as so unfair and further creates division in this country.
Yeah, and Donna, I want to get your take on this. Brian mentioned how race relations in this country seem to even be getting worse, going backwards. Here's an example. A white family riding New York City subway was recently verbally assaulted by a Black passenger. Take a look.
I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. You a dog in this country. You're a dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm Black American. I'm over you.
Wow. I mean, you know, Donna, it's like you see that, and it's something I think of.
By the way,
of
they
family.
were just sitting there.
They were just sitting there, right? And this guy's yelling at them. But I think as the parents, you're trying to distract your child, keep everything chill. But then as he starts to come forward, you don't know if it can be violent.
That's right.
A terrifying situation there. But just your reaction to what we saw there.
Listen, this is an example of the fact that racism, it actually goes both ways. What he did right here was actually commit a hate crime, and he should be punished. If this were a white man doing this to a Black family, he would have already been arrested. And this young man should be arrested because what he did absolutely is abuse. And it's a hate crime, and it's ugly. And when do we get to a place where we need to one-up and disrespect people to this point that we actually dehumanize him? I want to see him arrested.
Yeah, and the tough thing also in this situation is I was putting myself in that position. You know, I have a wife and kids. They've grown up a little bit now, but when they were little, when that kind of thing, if that were to happen, Brian, you have to say, okay, this guy's problem is obviously not with me personally. He knows nothing about me. He's projecting on me something that he's thinking, but is he a threat?
Right.
Do I need to protect my family? Do I need now to get back in his face? And it all started with what the guy yelling at them was saying, and it could become violent very quickly.
There's no good answer here. I mean, I had the same thought of I was on the subway with my daughter a few weeks ago, and you don't know what to do in this situation.
Yeah.
But if we fast forward, what's the solution? Is it segregated cars? I mean, that's awful. That's a harbinger to 60 years ago, 70 years ago. But is that the solution that some are going to say, well, the only way to avoid this is to have separate cars? That's a terrible thing. I mean, this is so wrong that this happens in America today. But again, the question is, why is there a rise of this? Why does someone feel that this is acceptable behavior, especially when we live in an age where everybody literally has a video camera with them? And I got to tell you, I've been in New York a lot, and you can get a sense of when someone seems crazy. This does not seem like a crazy person. This just seems like an angry person, to be honest. And there is a difference. A crazy person, you just look the other way. But this person is just angry, and there's nothing you can do about that. And that's really sad that this is where we are in this country today.
Yeah, Brian Sychek, Donna Jackson, great points. Thanks so much for being with us.